You're standing in the queue at the supermarket, just minding your own business, when suddenly the woman in front of you starts falling backwards, with her baby in her arms. You've got 1 second to react. What most people don't realize is that split-second choice can change 2 lives forever. I'm about to share a true story that'll make you believe in fate again. A young mum, a total stranger, and one moment that turned into a lifetime. By the end, you'll see why sometimes the worst day of your life is actually the start of your best one. It was a normal Tuesday afternoon. In March 2019, Emily Harper walked into her local supermarket in a quiet town in the Pacific Northwest. She had her 6-month-old daughter Lily strapped to her chest in a baby carrier. All she needed was milk, nappies, and maybe some strong coffee, because she'd been surviving on 3 hours sleep for the past 6 months. Emily was 26. A single mum, just trying to get through each day. She'd felt dizzy that morning, but she brushed it off. New mums ignore everything, don't they? The headaches, the exhaustion, the fact she couldn't remember her last proper meal. She told herself it was just part of the job. That morning she'd skipped breakfast again, gulped some water, and promised herself she'd feel better once the errands were done. Looking back, she sees all the warning signs she'd ignored for weeks. Her hands shaking as she buckled Lily in, her vision going spotty while driving. But when you're a single parent with no backup, you don't get to listen to your body. You just push on and hope for the best. 3 people back in the queue stood Tom Reynolds, a 30-year-old paramedic, just off a double shift, still in his uniform, grabbing a sandwich and an energy drink before crashing at home. Tom was shattered, running on autopilot, not really noticing much around him. He'd spent the last 16 hours dealing with crashes and heart attacks. All he wanted was his bed. He'd nearly skipped the shop altogether, nearly driven straight home. But something made him pull in. Something he still can't explain. Then it happened. Emily felt the world tilt. Her vision blurred. Her knees gave way. She started falling backwards. Lily pressed tight against her chest. She was about to hit the floor hard. Nothing she could do. The last thing she remembered was thinking of Lily, praying someone would catch her baby. Not even herself. Tom's training kicked in. Before his brain caught up, he dropped everything and lunged forward. He caught Emily under her arms, just inches before her head would have cracked on the tiles. He cradled them both, gently lowering them down. As other shoppers rushed over, Lily started crying. Emily's eyes were closed. Tom checked her pulse straight away, tilted her head to clear the airway, and started calling instructions to the crowd. Someone rang 999. Another person took Lily to comfort her. But Tom stayed right there, on that supermarket floor, holding Emily's head steady, watching her breathing, talking to her even though she couldn't hear. "Stay with me," he said softly. "You're going to be okay. Your baby's safe. Just stay with me." About 40 seconds later, Emily's eyes fluttered open. The first thing she saw was this stranger's face above her, full of real concern. She felt confused, embarrassed, terrified. Where's Lily? Is my baby okay? What happened? Tom reassured her instantly. Your daughter's fine. She's right here. You fainted. But you're going to be all right. I'm a paramedic. Help's coming. Just breathe slowly for me. You're doing great. Something about his calm voice cut through her panic. Steady. Like an anchor. The ambulance arrived quickly. Emily tried to refuse treatment. No insurance. Couldn't afford the bill. But Tom wouldn't let it go. He told the crew her symptoms. Insisted they check her vitals. They found something scary. Dangerously low blood pressure. Heart rate all over the place. This wasn't just tiredness. Something was seriously wrong. Emily and Lily were loaded into the ambulance. The manager offered to call someone. But she had no one. Parents gone years ago in a house fire. Ex vanished the moment she was pregnant. Closest friend 2 states away. She was completely alone. That's when Tom did something. That still makes Emily tear up. He told his partner he'd catch up later. Climbed into the ambulance. And rode with them to hospital. A complete stranger. Who'd already done a double shift. Who had every reason to go home. But he chose to stay. In the ambulance. Emily apologized for ruining his day. Tom just shook his head and smiled. You didn't ruin anything. This is what I do. Besides, someone's got to make sure. You actually listen to the doctors. At A&E. Doctors ran tests. Tom waited outside. Still holding Lily. Because Emily trusted no one else. She'd known him less than an hour. But the way he'd caught her. Protected Lily. That calm voice. Made her feel safe. For the first time in years. 2 hours later. The diagnosis. Severe anemia and dehydration. Plus postpartum issues. She hadn't known about. Her hemoglobin was so low. The doctor couldn't believe. She'd been functioning. Let alone looking after a baby. She needed a blood transfusion immediately. And overnight monitoring. Tom could have left then. He'd done more than enough. But when a nurse said Emily was asking for him, he went straight back in. And sat by her bed. I don't have anyone for Lily, Emily said. Tears falling. They say I have to stay. But I can't leave her alone. I can't afford a sitter. And I wouldn't trust anyone anyway. Tom looked at this exhausted, scared woman. And made another choice. I'll stay, he said simply. I'm off tomorrow anyway. That was a white lie. He had a shift. But he texted his boss. Got cover. For the next 10 hours. Tom Reynolds, stranger that morning. Looked after Lily like his own. He changed her nappy. Using YouTube videos. Because he'd never done it before. Laughed when he put it on backwards first time. He warmed bottles. Tested on his wrist. He walked the corridors at 2 a.m. Bouncing her gently. Singing off-key lullabies. He half remembered from childhood. Nurses smiled as they passed. One older nurse said. Your wife's lucky to have you. Tom didn't correct her. He just smiled. And kept rocking Lily. Emily woke every hour or so. Disoriented, worried. Each time she saw Tom there. Holding Lily. Watching over them both. Like the guardian she'd never had. In the quiet hours. When Lily slept. They talked. Emily shared her struggles. Raising Lily alone. The fear she was failing. Working 2 jobs while pregnant. Giving birth solo. Nights crying herself to sleep. Tom told her about losing his younger sister in a car crash 5 years earlier. How becoming a paramedic was his way of saving people he couldn't save back then. The guilt he still carried. They weren't paramedic and patient anymore. By sunrise, when Emily was cleared to go home, something had changed. Not romance yet. Deeper. Recognition. Two people who knew what it meant to keep going when everything felt impossible. Tom drove them home in his old truck. Helped carry the shopping she never got to finish. At her door, Emily turned, tears in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you. You didn't have to do any of this." Tom smiled. "Look after yourself. Lily needs her mum healthy. And for what it's worth, I think you're doing an amazing job." Those words cracked something open in Emily. No one had said that in months. She nodded, speechless. Watched him walk away. He could have left it there. But he didn't. 3 days later, he texted. Got her number from hospital notes. Technically against rules. Just to check she was okay. Emily replied instantly. They talked for hours. Messages every day. Then calls. Then Tom started dropping by after shifts. Bringing dinner. Helping with Lily. Just being there. Never pushed. Never made her feel she owed him. Just showed up. Consistently, reliably. Like no one ever had. He'd bring takeaway. Insist she eat while he played with Lily. Fixed the leaky tap she'd ignored for months. Sat with her paying bills. Helped when money was tight. Never making her feel small. 2 months later, Tom asked her on a proper date. They got a sitter for Lily. Went to a little Italian place. Talked for 4 hours straight. By the end, they both knew this was real. 11 months later, Tom proposed. On the exact spot in that supermarket where he'd caught her. He'd arranged it with the manager. Flowers, photos of their year together. Got down on one knee in the checkout lane. While Lily, now toddling, clapped her hands. "Emily Harper," he said, voice shaking. "You and Lily are my whole world. I want to spend every day catching you when you fall. Lifting you when you're strong. Will you marry me?" Emily said yes. Before he finished. Tears streaming. They married 6 months later. Small ceremony, close friends. Lily was flower girl. Wobbling down the aisle. Tom's ambulance partner was best man. That older nurse from the hospital came as a special guest. In his vows, Tom promised to always show up. Always choose them. Emily promised to let him in. To trust. To build a life. Neither thought possible. Now, 5 years on. Emily and Tom have 3 kids. Lily's 5.5. With 2 little brothers. Noah, 3. And Liam, 1. Tom officially adopted Lily. The day after the wedding. She calls him Dad. He's never called her anything else. When Lily asks about her birth dad, Tom tells her gently. "Your first dad wasn't ready to be a parent. But I was ready to be yours." Emily finished nursing school. Now works at the same hospital. Helping new mums. Especially single ones. Making sure they get the support she never had. Tom's still a paramedic. Still saving lives. Still comes home with stories that make the kids' eyes wide. They framed that day's receipt. On their living room wall. Under it. Sometimes your soulmate catches you. When you're falling. Emily thinks about that moment often. How close she came to hitting the floor. What could have happened to Lily? How different life would be. If Tom had been on his phone. Or picked another cue. Or been too tired to care. But he did care. And that changed everything. What gets me is this. We live in a world that says, mind your own business. Don't get involved. Protect yourself first. Tom had every reason to walk away. Multiple times. But he chose connection over convenience. Compassion over comfort. He saw a struggling person. Not an inconvenience. And Emily, who'd survived alone so long, had to choose to let someone in. To trust again. To believe not everyone leaves. That supermarket still gets people asking staff about the couple who met there. It's become local legend. A reminder that miracles aren't always huge. Sometimes they're just one person deciding to catch another. When they fall. 5 years, 3 kids, countless memories later. Tom and Emily don't believe in coincidence anymore. They believe in that split second. When everything changes. When a stranger becomes family. When falling down turns into falling in love. If you take one thing from this. Show up for people. That moment you choose. Between walking away and staying. Between minding your business. And reaching out. That choice matters. More than you'll ever know. You might catch someone. Exactly when they need you most. And who knows? That might change both your lives forever. Don't miss the next one. Popping up on screen now.